So I'm going to come to that frame, and then I'm going to drag up my range for that layer, and I'm just going to leave that. But if I go one more frame over, you'll see that it disappears, and that's what I want to do. Now I'll come back to the previous one, which is here, and do the same from the start. Just drag it up. Then I'm going to drag the whole thing back to the start frame, and then I'm going to drag my work area to just encompass this area. And I can actually use a little shortcut. We can right click and we can trim comp to work area, and that trims our comp perfectly to contain just that single walk cycle. So one left and right leg cycle ending back exactly where we started. And it's very important that your reference always contain the first and last frame should be identical. For any cycle work, this is absolutely crucial. You must have the first and last frame absolutely matching. So the next thing we've got to do is we've got to try to keep this guy in the same spot. So what I'm going to do is go into my view menu. I'm going to pull up show rulers, just so that I can click over here on the ruler and drag out a guide. It's pretty much the same as you would in Photoshop. I'm just going to position it roughly in the middle, and then I'm going to bring up my position transform for the layer, and I'm going to click on the position stopwatch to activate animation. You can see there's a little keyframe that's been created here at frame 0. And what I'm going to do is slide this across. Now, if I hold down Shift, I can actually lock it from moving up and down. And I'm going to try to line it up. And I found a very good place to look is the base of the neck. Even though the head may tilt forward slightly throughout the walk cycle, the base of the neck tends to stay right down the center line. So that one's looking pretty good. And then the idea here is to get away with as few keyframes as possible. Now you'll find that if this is a human character, a real person walking across, you will need to use a few more keyframes. I'm just simply going to go all the way to the end and do the same method, holding Shift while I drag, and just line up that center of the neck again. And you'll see that now we have a walk cycle that transitions on the spot. And as I said, if it's a human character, you may have to come through and actually move these around. But try to always keep the center of gravity, which is the center of the pelvis, perfectly lined up with that line. And you'll find that there's not many walk cycles when filmed from side on that don't work in this way. So you will notice a very slight pause in the cycle here, and that's because the first and last frame are identical. And we need that for our animation. That's going to become a lot more apparent when we get into 3D Studio Max. So let me just show you